How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you guys through my very own team selection for the upcoming Game Week 9. So Game Week 9 proves to be quite a strange game week for our own teams as we look to potentially wildcard in Game Week 10. Is it 1 week punt time, or should we actually set up a long-term plan if we choose not to use the wildcard? So I'll be going through all those transfer plans in this specific video, as well as taking a quick look back at Game Week 8. I know it's been forever, international break has really been a long one, but I just want to show you guys where we're sitting in the overall ranks, and it will be quite a quick review. So that's something that you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over the quick review of Game Week 8, as mentioned, a super long international break. It feels like forever since Game Week 8 ended. At least we were sitting on a green arrow by the end of it though. So the last couple of days haven't been too bad. So that green arrow was thanks to the fact that we scored 55 points, a 1.2 million game week rank took us up to the same overall rank. So the total points, 469 at the end of Game Week 8, and for Game Week 9 we have one free transfer and 1.0 million left in the bank. So let's see where those points came from. In terms of our bench, we've got a lovely clean sheet. If you guys don't know, Nottingham Forest did play Crystal Palace. We actually went on the better side of that 50-50, and we started Johnston, who got 9 points. So if you guys went with either of them, a clean sheet was on the cards, and we are looking to start Turner next week in terms of Game Week 9. Other than that though, Archer with only 2 points, at least he played the full game. We then have Botman and Baldock, both injury concerns, who I hope will return for Game Week 9. Then go on to our starting 11. I already spoke about Johnston with his 9 points. That was kind of some save points as well as some bonus points, which you always love to see. So finally, on the receiving end of the good side of the 50-50, as really was kind of a tough debate between Johnston and Matt Turner. Then go on to our back line, and it was going to be clean sheets for all our defenders. We got Kieran Trippier, actually wasn't a clean sheet, but he racked up a lovely assist and some bonus points. But I guess you guys can tell your grandkids that it was a clean sheet, and that was also going to be a Dogi and Pedro Porro with a clean sheet to boot. Now if you guys did watch that Spurs game, it was a super nervy one for us as the two defensive owners. Now the heat of that kind of red card continued into our midfield department, as you guys can see a lovely captaincy armband on Heung-min Son, and he racked up no attacking returns, only the clean sheet point. So that red card was super annoying for our own team. Don't exactly know what would have happened if they didn't get the red card. With 11 men on the pitch, maybe Heung-min Son would have got an attacking return. But yet again, as mentioned in the kind of transfer plan video, the early kickoff glitch hits us again. You should never back the early kickoff. We did, we paid the price. So hopefully none of you guys are captaining Salah this game week. Marcus Rashford and Bruno also ended up blanking. Was super disappointed in that. I'm giving them one more game week, but if they don't perform, I think I'm going to activate the wildcard just to transfer them out. Same with Mbumo, had a relatively quiet performance. Would have kind of hoped that he performed better. But he's also getting one more game week. Now the star performer of our team was going to be Raheem Sterling. I'm just super happy that I kept hold of him. If you guys watched the deadline stream, I was super close to actually taking him out, as I looked to take a -4 hit and bring in Maddison and Cash instead of going for Pedro Porro. But luckily no early team news was had. I guess if we did get early team news, it would have been positive, as Raheem Sterling started that game, scored a goal, and I think got 2 assists. So literally saved our game week, otherwise it probably would have been a red arrow. So thanks again, Raheem Sterling. Then finally our 2 forwards was be Erling Haaland and Alvarez. At least Heung-min Son outperformed Erling Haaland, as he was our second captaincy option. But in terms of these two players, it was relatively kind of a low performance from them. As you guys know, they played Arsenal, lost 1-0, but the more worrying fact was that Alvarez was subbed quite early on. So I don't really know what to read into that, because in my opinion Alvarez has been one of the best Man City options, the most informed option, so why take him off when you're not even leading? So the forward department was pretty kind of annoying. The only player in our midfield that scored was Raheem Sterling. At least our defensive department clutched up in Game Week 8. As I always say though, let me know in the comments down below, how did your game week go? Was Game Week 8 a red, a green? Probably your international break has been a little bit tougher if it was a red arrow. And where are you guys sitting in the overall ranks? Now before we talk about my actual transfer plan, I want to give you guys the current team selection with no transfers made, as I want to show you guys the context of what I'm dealing with. The reason I always like to do this is to show you guys the kind of thought process. You guys should always look at your starting 11s first, then your transfer plans, as it really kind of lays out the context. So just keep in the back of your mind the fact that we have 1 transfer and 1.0 left in the bank, and then you guys can kind of plan out as we go along who you would take out with that transfer. So let's start off on our bench, and the bench this week, I'll be benching Johnston. I'm just hoping for another 50-50 that comes out trumps, but I think we'll be looking better as he does face Newcastle away. So Newcastle, one of the most informed teams at the current moment, definitely going to be benching Johnston, as I believe they will score. But you guys can let me know what goalkeeper you guys would bench. Then I have Arch against United, Botman against Crystal Palace, and Baldock against United as well. The only player that has a chance of being in the starting 11 might be Botman if we get positive news tomorrow in the press conference. So the reason I'm benching Johnson at the current moment, like you guys will probably be doing as well, is because I've got Turner between the sticks as he faces Luton at home. So great fixture on the cards here. If you guys watch the Ultimate Guide, you guys will know Nottingham Forest are actually a pretty good defense at the moment. Their expected clean sheets are tied 6th. So no complaints here about Turner. I just hope that he returns the clean sheet yet again, and just hope that he isn't dropped for the replacement goalkeeper. Then let's go over our defense. To start off with Kieran Trippier, just super happy that I own him for this game week, as against Crystal Palace without Eze, this might be a locked in clean sheet. So that's just music to my ears as a Trippier owner because the defensive threat is going to be there, and as always, he has a massive attacking threat. Our next two defenders, Udogie and Porro, also have a massive attacking threat. They do face Fulham at home though, so the clean sheet might not be locked in, as that Spurs defense has conceded quite a lot of XG. But nevertheless, I think these two options are perfectly fine to play for Game Week 9, but I guess I could potentially bench one of them for Botman. I don't know what you guys will think there. Should I bench them for Botman? I don't exactly think so. I think the attacking threat does outweigh Botman's defensive threat, as they definitely have the highest ceiling. Then let's go on to our midfield department. As you guys can see, Mbeumo, always call him the man in the middle. He has Burnley at home. Great fixture on the cards here. I'm going to keep him one more game week, and then potentially take him out on a Game Week 10 wildcard. So fingers crossed that he does perform. I know I've always said that he doesn't have to perform every single game week, but it has been a few game weeks since his last return. Then let's go to his right-hand side. We've got Raheem Sterling against Arsenal at home. This is a tougher game on paper. You guys would have seen this against Man City, put up a good performance. And Chelsea haven't been the most free-scoring side recently. So Raheem Sterling, if I was to take out an option, definitely is going to be on the chopping block. I know he just returned 16 points for us. I thanked him for that. But before that, he was doing basically nothing. And the reason I'll probably be taking Raheem Sterling out instead of my other midfielders is because they all have great fixtures. Let's start off with Heung-min Son. So Son does face Fulham at home. Great fixture on the cards here. There was a little bit of concern about a potential injury on the international break, but it seems like it's just a continuation of the knock that he's been carrying over the past few game weeks. So fingers crossed that he'll be fine for Game Week 9, as I really do need him, and this is an absolute outstanding fixture. So let's see what the Spurs manager says tomorrow in his press conference, but fingers crossed it's going to be positive. As mentioned, it's a great fixture and Son's a great player. Then finally go on to probably the upside or the downside of our Game Week 9 team. It's with the United assets. So Rashford and Bruno are taking on Sheffield United away. If they don't both return in this game, I don't really know what to say. This is simply an outstanding fixture and United have to win and put on a good performance. So could this be a good buy present? I don't exactly know. If I was to wildcard in Game Week 10, I probably won't own either of them. But let's rather confirm that after they get hauls in Game Week 9. But as you guys can see, the midfield department is looking pretty decent. The only fixture probably Sterling against Arsenal at home. But as mentioned, I'll probably be taking him out if I do want to go for a 1 week punt. Then let's go on to our forward department. It's going to be Erling Haaland. He's going to be my captain for the upcoming game week. I believe out of my team, he's the best option. I'd probably argue that Mo Salah is quite close to him, but because I don't own the Egyptian, it's an easy decision, and he's going to have the armband. If you guys are kind of confused about who to go for, just remember that Salah does have the early kickoff, and you guys know the rest. But all kind of superstitions aside or jokes aside, I do believe Erling Haaland is probably the best option to go for in terms of the captain. Brighton are going to attack here, they're going to pass out the back, City are going to press them, and I can see them scoring quite a few. So let's hope that Erling Haaland gets back on the goal scoring way of things, because over the recent kind of matches, he hasn't been performing well, but I guess neither have Man City. I am really hoping that Man City do bounce back because I do own Julian Alvarez. He also has the same fixture as Haaland obviously, but he has just come back from quite a long flight from South America. Now I do believe that Julian Alvarez is one of the best Man City options at the moment, definitely one of the most informed players, so I do expect Pep to at least start him against Brighton. But I guess there is some slight concern about some rotation. If we do get early team news that he is going to be benched, I could always start Botman against Crystal Palace. But overall, as you guys can see, the starting 11 this week does look actually pretty decent. I won't lie, I think the squad has the potential to score a bunch of points, and that's thanks to a lot of home fixtures for our team. Now the only players that I might actually rotate here, as mentioned, might be Botman. If we get positive news from Eddie Howe tomorrow, he could come into the starting 11. And if I was to roll a transfer, I think playing him over Sterling might be the play. But let me know what you guys think. What transfer would you guys make if this was your own team? I'm pretty sure Sterling might be the popular transfer out. But now let's go on to the actual transfer plan leading into that Game Week 9 deadline. I'll be doing a deadline stream for you guys. The chance that I do my transfer in that stream is quite likely, as Liverpool do have the early kickoff and we might be going for one of their options. So hopefully I do see you guys there, but no promises that we do get early team sheets, but I guess there's always a chance. So the first kind of plan I want to talk about and the main theme of my transfer plans is, am I going to wildcard in game week 10? At the current moment, I don't exactly know. I'm trying to be quite flexible with my transfer options. If I was to wildcard, it's either going to be probably game week 10 or it's going to be game week 19. As mentioned, Man City have the double game week and the blank in 18 and 20. So the wildcard plan does have kind of a big impact on my transfer decisions. If I choose to wildcard next week, I'll obviously be taking a 1 week punt, whereas if I don't, I think banking a transfer might be more likely. I think I will probably bank a transfer if I was to get news that Botman is going to be fit. I could simply play him over Raheem Sterling, but I'd only do that if I'm on a wildcard in game week 19. Another option, if we do get kind of confirmation that Botman is going to be missing for game week 9, the transfer I might make to kind of future-proof my squad is taking out Raheem Sterling for someone like a Dayvy, as he has some very nice fixtures coming up. If you guys watched my ultimate guide yesterday, you'll know that West Ham are one of the worst defenses at the current moment, and Aston Villa are a pretty decent squad. So these two plans of either banking a transfer or going for a Dayvy will be for the fact that if I don't choose to wildcard in game week 10. Now the next transfer plan I'll be going for is if I do choose to wildcard in game week 10, for me, as mentioned, the weakest link is probably Raheem Sterling. That Arsenal fixture is quite a tough one, and therefore I'll be looking to take a 1 week punt. So the current moment, my favorite punt to look at is going to be Diogo Jota. He is Everton at home. I do expect him to start. I think Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz after their South American international break. I think they will probably be getting a rest and then Jota will be starting. What will be even better is maybe if we get some early team sheet news about Jota starting at centre forward, as I just prefer him at that slot instead of left wing. But I guess Jota could even be not a 1 week punt. He has Nottingham Forest, then Luton. I just can't guarantee the starts, and that's how I'd prefer a Liverpool option for only 1 game week. Another option that we could also go for is Gibbs White from Nottingham Forest. He has Luton at home. Great game on paper, but if you do get confirmation that Jota starts, I would rather go for him. Now this could also be kind of a Luis Diaz, it could be a Gakpo. Both of them went in the training session today for Liverpool, so I do assume they're all going to be fine. But that is kind of the one factor I'm a little bit worried about with those Liverpool forwards, is the fact that they all were training today. Darwin Núñez, Mo Salah, Jota, Gakpo, Luis Diaz, all of them were training, and therefore if they do start, I'm pretty sure they'll be getting 60 minutes only. So slight concern there if you guys are looking to take a 1 week punt. Obviously it would be great if Jota was guaranteed 90 minutes, but I don't think we can kind of do that. But I think at the current moment, I am leaning towards the game week 10 wildcard anyways. If we do get early team sheet news, it's a no-brainer to bring a Jota, a Luis Diaz, or a Gakpo in, just depending on who I think is going to start centre forward. I can afford this move pretty comfortably, and as mentioned, I think Raheem Sterling might be fine, but I just don't really like that Arsenal home fixture. But let me know what you guys think about my transfer plan. As mentioned, it's quite hard to decide without kind of knowing my wildcard plan, but I'm trying to be flexible at the moment. Let me know what transfers you guys are planning for the upcoming game week. Are you guys looking to take a 1 week punt? Have you already wildcarded? And are any of you actually taking a hit this game week? If you're on the wildcard trip, let me know on your latest drafts in the comments down below, or if you have any other questions or talking points, I'll try and get back to every comment. But this is basically going to wrap the video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the deadline stream coming up 1 hour before the deadline, where hopefully we'll be getting early team sheet news about Liverpool and locking in that free transfer. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.